Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your justice analyst, Kirill from Belarus. The series of my 37 deep dive analysis videos is now over, so now it's time to talk about the general lineup and how this whole competition can finish, because now I can really compare the entries better with each other. I will start today with the first semifinal, where we will quickly go through all the participating countries, discuss how well they can do in the semifinal, if they will qualify to the final or not. Of course, this all is based only on our pre-rehearsal data, so basically on their live performances at the pre-parties, on their national selections, on how popular the songs are, how well they're rated by bookmakers or by the Eurovision fans. So without further ado, let's start with our first country. Take a look at yourself, 'cause that is what you need to do. And to open the first semi-final show was chosen actually the youngest participant of this year. It's Silia Kapsis from Australia, representing Cyprus, with her song Liar. I think it's a great opener. It will be definitely remembered. It's a kind of a typical Eurovision song people expect when they watch the show. So generally, I tend to believe that this type of summer bop songs will be rated by televoters high enough in order to qualify. I think generally, if such songs were not making it through, it was mostly because of the juries. So in this case, I tend to believe that she will make it. She is actually also rated 6 both by the bookmakers and by the Eurovision fandom, so I really see her chances to qualify somewhere by 65%. I think she can make it. It all really depends on how she will sound live, because if her live vocals will be quite weak because of the lack of experience, she might be left outside in the end, but I tend to believe that she will qualify. Serbia. This is a tough one, I have to say. In general, we know that Serbia is a country which normally is qualifying to the Eurovision final. They actually have very good record in the last 15 years. But this year's song is definitely not something what is typically televoters friendly. So it is currently ranked by the bookmakers 8th and by the Eurovision fandom 4th. I have to say, I don't really see this qualifying based on the running order. If producers give her spot number 2, it means they're probably not expecting a very special performance. It's probably like a spot reserved for something more forgettable, what most probably will not qualify in order not to hurt the song too much. So currently, I would rate her chances as 40%, because maybe with a very mesmerizing staging she could do it. There are also some kind of neighboring friendly countries like Croatia or Slovenia, which will probably rate the song quite high. But as of now, I see her rather not qualifying. Lithuania, so it's Silvester belt with Luktelk. So we have the second song in a row, which is in a local language. Lithuanian is a language which we don't hear so often in Eurovision, which is amazing. Another young artist, but completely different style of the song. Silvester Belt is currently ranked 3rd by the bookmakers in order to qualify from this semifinal. He is also ranked 2nd by Eurovision fandom, so I really tend to believe that he will make it, even though, spot number 3 is still quite a forgettable one, so it's not like guaranteeing you that you have a good shot to qualify. I think more often songs from the 3rd spot don't qualify than they do. That's why I cannot rate his chances too high. Also, the song is maybe not the strongest, and even if he qualifies to the final, I don't see it finishing very high. So at the moment, I will rate his chances as 75%. And now number 4, Bambie with Doomsday Blue. If you have watched my reaction video, you probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of the song. I find it a little bit difficult to sit through, but it's definitely something memorable, which makes it for me quite difficult to say if this one can qualify or not, because usually televoters tend to go for something what is memorable, what stands out. But I'm just thinking that maybe this one stands out too much and will be really a little bit too weird for the televoters. So currently Eurovision fandom ranks her 9th, and the bookmakers as well agree and put also Ireland on the 9th place. In my opinion, the chances to qualify are somewhere by 35%. I rather see it not qualifying, especially taking into account that it's Ireland and that it's in the beginning of the show. But with a really groundbreaking staging, if it's something very memorable, absolutely different than everyone else, maybe she could make it. This one is not really very difficult to predict. They are currently ranked jointly first in the semi-final in order to qualify. They are also ranked third by the Eurovision fandom community. Well, I'm pretty sure that Ukraine will qualify, but let's reserve 95% for them, just for the case that, maybe their finalized staging will be a little bit difficult to understand or something. So and now it's time to talk about country number 6, which is actually sandwiched between two biggest favorites of the semifinals, so between Ukraine and Croatia, and it's Poland. So Poland is currently ranked 7th both by bookmakers and by the fandom. So Poland is mostly qualifying to the Eurovision final, but it all kind of depends. We have seen the live performances of Luna at the different pre-parties, which were, I would say, rather questionable. I think this was not the best delivery of the song. I think also already during my reaction to the song, I was saying quite often that it's a perfect song for the radio, but I'm not sure how well they can stage it live. And this is my big concern. So at the moment, I don't really believe in Poland qualifying. So I would rate their chances to qualify with 30%. And now Dream Team Tagi from Croatia. So Baby Lasagna is of course ranked first by the Eurovision fandom, also jointly first by the bookmakers in order to qualify. Well, I would rate his chances as 100%. Why not? I'm pretty sure that this song is very much to the voting oriented. I just can't imagine a universe where it's not qualifying. And now after Croatia, we have Iceland. So from the biggest favorite of the semifinal, we go to the least favorite of the semifinal, because Iceland is ranked last both by the bookmakers and by the Eurovision fandom. I definitely don't see a universe where Iceland is qualifying in comparison to Croatia. I definitely think that Hera will deliver us a great performance with great charisma. I hope they will change some of the staging concepts in comparison to her performance in the national selection, but I don't think that anything can really help her to qualify. Maybe she might not finish last with, good staging, good performance, but I would rate the chances to qualify as 5% max. And now the song number 9, and it's Slovenia, Veronika by Raiven. Well, with all my love to Raiven, I really think the song is great. It's also one of my personal favorites of the semi-final. For me, it is a little bit hard to see this one qualifying. Bookmakers are currently putting it on place 11, Eurovision fandom on place 5. Well, the song is definitely for the Eurovision fans. I don't think that, general viewers of Eurovision would listen a lot to music like that, because mostly they choose something what is radio friendly or eye-catchy, but not something, so deep, dark, mysterious. So I tend to believe that Slovenia will miss the finals this year, even though I love the song so much. So currently I would rank their chances as 25%. I don't see it as hopeless as Iceland. Maybe they will bring an incredible stage and something very, very memorable and mesmerizing, and then we will see Slovenia in the finals. The next country is Finland. Well, actually the next country after Slovenia will be Germany, and then the Finnish performance comes. But still, it's quite interesting to see how big the contrast of Finland to Slovenia is, because Slovenia is a song which is ranked very high by fandom, very low by the bookmakers, and Finland is a complete opposite. The fandom ranks Finland as 11th, so they don't believe the song should qualify, while bookmakers rank it 4th. Well, in my opinion, Finnish song is just a perfect one for grabbing attention of the televoters. I can't see it non-qualifying. They won the Finnish selection selection by such a landslide when it comes to the televote that I tend to believe that they will get a lot of points and the joke will be appreciated and understood again. So I rank the chances of Finland to qualify to the grand final as 90%. Now it's time for the song number 11, and it's In the Middle by Natalia from Moldova. Well, this is also one of my personal favorites of the semifinal, like Raiven's song. I think she has better shot than Raiven because she has this instrumental part after the chorus, which is very catchy, which is with some traditional elements. These are the things which are always appealing for the televoters, so I can imagine they voting for this. I'm not sure if it will be enough to qualify. So if we take a look at the bookmakers and at the Eurovision fandom, both of them rank the song second to last, so 14th out of 15, and not really so far from Iceland. But I still think Moldova might really surprise us, taking into account how impressive were the vocals of Natalia at all the pre-parties. The only thing which definitely makes me concerned is where Moldova is performing. Of course, it's not the beginning of the show, but being after Finland and before Sweden might be not the best spot. So currently, 40% chance. Well, the next one is Azerbaijan, and it's a beautiful song, which is actually my personal favorite of maybe this whole competition, not only this semi-final. I really hope that maybe live it will come alive, that both of the singers will be incredible live, because there were like lots of auditions rounds in Azerbaijan where they all had to perform their songs live, so I'm pretty sure if their live would be not so good, then we would not see them in the competition. So currently they're ranked 13th by the bookmakers, also 13th by the Eurovision fandom. So yeah, currently their chances are rather questionable, but we all know that generally Azerbaijan is rated quite good by the televoters, only as long as they don't send something too generic, which has absolutely no connection to Azerbaijani culture, because then I think also the Azerbaijani or Turkish people around Europe, they don't really feel so connected to this, they don't really want to vote for this. But Azerbaijan is sort of the last country which shows us this Turkish nation's culture. So I think there are enough people watching the competition who maybe like this kind of culture, like the style of music. So I would still see them rather qualifying, and especially after Sweden, you know, Sweden's like such a banger, such a loud song, such a party song. The instrumental is so powerful. And then comes this very calm song from Azerbaijan. On the contrast, Azerbaijan will actually stand out and will rather qualify. That's why I see their chances as 60%. And then after this serious, modern, also ballad songs comes this kind of party, good mood song from Australia. Of course, Finland is bringing, you know, also this kind of vibe, but there are these three songs between them which really make difference. So I think Australia will really stand out based on that. The performer is very charismatic. They will bring also Australian Aboriginal culture on stage in form of his artworks in the background. So I think this performance will be really memorable. I think the televoters tend to vote for up-tempo songs with the cultural elements in it. I can see this qualifying. It's just we haven't seen any live performance for the song, so we really don't know how well it will sound live. That's why, as of now, I will rank their chances as 50%. Plus, Australia, of course, has this challenge that they don't really have any neighboring countries which historically support them, where, you know, they share the same musical market. So they really need to bring a great performance so that the voters from the European countries will also choose Australia as their favorites. And now it's time to talk about our second to last song, and it's Portugal's Scream Grito from Yolanda. So this song is now almost in the end of the show, which definitely gives a huge advantage in order to qualify. Portugal also just generally has good statistics from the recent years when it comes to the qualification. The song is of course maybe not the most televoter friendly. The juries would have ranked it much higher. That's why bookmakers are currently putting Portugal on place 12. So they rather see Yolanda not qualifying. The Eurovision fans rank it 10th, but actually with quite a big gap to 11th place, so they think that Portugal should sneak into the final. I would actually give Portugal 70% qualification chance. Well, it's quite a high number, and it's maybe higher than some other of your favorites whom you would expect to see in the final. But really, I think it will stand out so well. It's basically the only real, soulful, passionate ballad in this semi-final, maybe apart from Serbia, but Serbia is, very much melancholic, and Yolanda's song is just, scream from her soul. So I think it's a much more powerful and captivating ballad. So I really see Portugal qualifying this year. I think if they will not qualify with all her stunning vocals, this charismatic, amazing performance, then we definitely need to get judges back to the semifinals. And the last song is from our almost debuting country, Luxembourg, Fighter by Tagi. So this one is not an easy one, because we don't know how the televoters could or could not vote for Luxembourg, because we don't have any historical record of televoters being even able to vote for Luxembourg. The song is of course close in the semifinals, so they have a perfect running draw in order to qualify. But there are a couple of, good up-tempo songs before that, Australia, Finland. Also, if we are looking for summer bop, we have Cyprus, which I think is a little bit better. It gives us a little bit more of this cultural aspect in the song than the Luxembourgish one. So as of now, I'm really unsure. Maybe the producers will somehow hype the fact that it comes from Luxembourg more during the show, which will help Luxembourg to stand out and that people will want to vote for it. But on the other hand, if people like the songs from Cyprus each and every year, and now this Luxembourgish entry is hyped, why should they vote for it? They will be like, no, I always liked my Cypriot entries, so I will vote for it again. Luxembourg, well, okay, not a bad song. So, it's not like a song which will grab too much attention so that people will really want to vote for this new country, will be interested in listening to more music from Luxembourg. So at this point of time, I see them somewhere on the edge of qualifying, maybe rather not qualifying. So I would say 45% chance. We really have to look at their live performance. So these are my initial opinions about the songs. Of course, everything can change after the rehearsals, so I will ensure to update these rankings after the second rehearsals. We will talk again about how some countries improved their chances or actually destroyed them completely. So if we take a look, my 10 qualifiers are Cyprus, Lithuania, Ukraine, Croatia, Finland, Moldova, Azerbaijan, Australia, Portugal, and Luxembourg, which means that Serbia, Ireland, Poland, Iceland, and Slovenia are my most probable non-qualifiers, which means 4 songs are qualifying from the first half and 6 songs from the second half. So this is how I see the results. Of course, they are partially different in comparison to the bookmakers and especially to the Eurovision fandom. Who will be right in the end, we will see. I hope I have given you some ideas and thoughts how the actual results might look like. I have to say, in the past I was winning each and every year quite some money with the bookmaker odds while betting on countries to qualify, to reach top 10, to maybe be in top 5 in the end and so on. But unfortunately, since a couple of years in Germany, law prohibits making any bets on Eurovision. So basically only on sports it's allowed, because in Eurovision, we can vote, so we can basically then in the end have influence on the result. And that's why our law sees it as something unacceptable. So unfortunately, I cannot make any more money with the Eurovision bets. But well, feel free to take some of my ideas, but in case you lose, don't blame me. See you in the next one. Bye bye.